I'm going to ask you a very serious question today. Who is the best rapper ever? Okay, so depending on which generation I ask, some of you might say Tupac, right? Or Notorious B.I.G. or Lil Wayne, or who else? Do you guys call good rappers? I don't know. I mean, for me, I might say Drake. Oh, that would be the clear choice. But most would argue that our boy right there, Shakespeare, okay, of Julius Caesar's work, Shakespeare is the best and the first rapper ever, the best, okay? So some of you are like, what, lady? You are out of your mind. If you don't believe me, let me show you what exactly I'm talking about.
Some of you may know of it, some of you may not. It's Shakespeare's most famous poem, Sonnet 18. I haven't doctored it to make it fit to the rhythm, but just listen close. Okay, yo. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art my lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's leaves have all too short a date. Sometimes too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often is his gold complexion dim. And every fair sometimes declines, by chance or nature changing course untrimmed. But thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of the fair thou owest, nor shall death rank thou wanderest in a shade. When in eternal lines to time thou growest, so long as men can breathe or eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee. As men can breathe and eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee.
Okay, so you did not believe me, right? And I told you, Shakespeare, okay, best rapper ever. And look at his work. This is Sonnet 18, his most popular work that you just heard, okay? Shall I compare thee to a summer's day, right? And we were all in class doing it all proper. Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Right? So today we're going to talk about Shakespeare's language, and specifically how it serves as an iambic pentameter. Now, there's a difference between Shakespeare's plays and Shakespeare's poems. Obviously, with the plays, it's not going to rhyme. In this case, there are some characteristics that you should know about Shakespeare's work and the plays that we're reading, for example, Julius Caesar. One, it's blank verse, which means it doesn't rhyme. It's unrhymed. So whether we're talking about Hamlet, Midsummer Night's Dream, King Lear, Othello, Lady Macbeth, it doesn't matter, right? If it's dealing with a play, it's blank verse, oftentimes unrhymed, and we're going to talk specifically today about iambic pentameter, which is why there was so much rhythm to Shakespeare's work. And you'll see even in Julius Caesar's play, where we have Mark Antony speaking, there are signs of iambic pentameter in that as well, and even when Brutus talks in the text. So we're going to take a close look. So first of all, what is iambic? And so iambic just means that there are unstressed, which is what you see at the very time, it looks like a U, and followed by a stressed syllable over or above a word. So it's unstressed, stress. So long as men can breathe or eyes can see. There's an emphasis on the stress. Now let's take a look at the pentameter or pentameter, some of you may say, and you wouldn't think it was cross-curricular in terms of math showing up in literature, especially with Shakespeare's work. But now we have 5 feet, right? We have 5 feet, and that's what makes it a pentameter. We say but soft, so you have, if we take 10, there are 10 syllables, okay? Divided by 2, because you have the stress and unstressed, that's one pair of iambic. So we have the unstressed followed by the stress, the unstressed followed by the stress. So we have 5 pairs of those, right? But soft, what light through yonder were, do breaks, right? We have 5 pairs of the unstressed followed by the stress. That's what makes it the pentameter. There are 10 syllables in this line. And here's the 5 pent feet iambic pentameter. So as you can see, it's not hard to learn. You can See, it's not that hard to learn this, right? So, but you probably noticed that the line length is very deliberate. So obviously when Shakespeare is writing the plays, he can't rhyme all of his work for a play because it's like over 100 pages of work, so he's not going to rhyme that. But when he's doing like a sonnet, those are going to be, typically they have their own rhyme scheme. In this case, when we're looking at Julius Caesar, we're going to see, and these are all Anthony's speeches, and you probably just thought, oh, these were just words that fit on the page, but the words were very deliberate in his work. So you'll notice that most of Anthony's lines add up to 10 syllables. These are all iambic pentameter, and it's a blank verse because they do not rhyme. It's unrhymed blank verse. So good friends, sweet friends, let me not stare you up. There's 10, right? To such a sudden flood of mutiny. Again, there's 10. So if you look at each of these lines, they're iambic pentameter because there are 5 pairs of the iambic unstressed followed by the stressed. And there are a total of 10 syllables in each line of Shakespeare's Julius Caesar when it's over with Anthony speaking. So I just wanted you to see the Shakespeare language and how it works. And so Shakespeare shifts, okay? So there are different patterns. So you have, it could shift. You might be reading the play and you notice, and you don't know all of the different ways in which it's communicated, but we have iambic. So the stress might change from iambic to trochaic, which is really, instead of being unstressed, followed by stressed, maybe the stress is at the beginning and then it's unstressed. So if you saw trochaic, you might see, it might have an emphasis in the first syllable and then not so much of an emphasis in the second syllable. You might see in Shakespeare's work, there's a shift in meter. It goes from 10 syllables to 8. So pentameter would be 10 syllables, right? Or 5 pairs of iambics, right? Unstressed, stress. Or you might have, if there's a shift in tetrameter, then there's a purpose, there's a reason behind it. And in the work, you might see that it shifts from poetry, which is would be the lines that we're reading, a blank verse, unrhymed, iambic pentameter, back to prose where people are having like a discussion, right? So we see that, and it happens in the text in the very beginning. There's prose where the commoners are talking, and then we see Brutus who goes into like poetry, blank verse, iambic pentameter, and even Mark Antony, and then it goes back to prose where they're having this dialogue and discussion in the text. So those are some the shifts that happen in Shakespeare's plays. So again, I wanted you to revisit because we saw just how many times Mark Antony speaks after Caesar's death. And again, we see this iambic pentameter, any line you could pick out to have blank verse. So he's not going to rhyme. He's not going to be able to rhyme for, 100 plus pages. But you will see a lot of similes. Shakespeare has his characters talking in lots of similes and metaphors in the text. So I hope that was helpful for you to see Shakespeare language. I'm sure if you were to have looked closely, you thought, oh, the words just fit on the page. But no, they're very deliberate. Those are 10 syllables when you see the poetry, blank verse, iambic pentameter, and then you see a shift back to the discourse that happens between the characters. Hope that was helpful. Thank you.